Okay. I think we are here. Hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, can you send an emoji on the comment section? I see a thumbs up. If you can hear me properly, see a thumbs up. All right. Okay. All right, guys. Let me start by saying good evening, everyone. And today is another episode of our weekly trainings. Today we are going to be looking into introduction to serverless computing with AWS Lambda. There are a couple of things that we're going to learn in this session, understanding what serverless computing is, um, what is the event-driven architecture, how it also works with the API gateway, S3, DynamoDB, etc. So today is going to be fully packed. So I hope you are ready for this amazing session. It's going to be really quite interesting. For those that are just probably new into the AWS kind of thing or what it's about, yeah, there are a couple of lessons that we have done in the past. You can, you know, click on the profile and see some of the previous lessons or trainings that we've done to kind of bring you up to speed. But today on is going to be about AWS serverless computing using Lambda, and it's going to be done or taught by Mr. Mohammed. Mr. Mohammed is a professional when it comes to DevOps and cloud engineering, and it's going to be walking us through what the Lambda is. And if you have your system, I would advise you to have that beside you. Make sure it's on. Um, do whatever it takes to be part of it. If you don't have a system with you, grab your pen and paper so that you can learn one or two things right. And this is very important. And yeah, so let's get to it. So I'm going to bring Mr. Mohammed on board to get started. All right, guys. Yeah. So if you have any question, don't hesitate to put that on the comment section, and we'll always respond to you. All right. Okay.
Hello,
Yeah, we can hear you, Mr. Mohammed.
you can hear me now.
Yep, yep.
Okay, okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Good evening, everyone. Yeah, welcome to another session of the AWS Cloud Club in Ilag. My name is Mohammed Fidels. I am a cloud engineer and DevOps engineer as well. So I'm excited to talk about one of the most powerful concepts in, I would say, modern cloud computing, which is serverless. Okay, can you see my screen? Just to be sure.
We can't see your screen at the moment.
So
Okay,
you
okay,
can see
okay.
it.
Don't worry, I can see it. So don't worry, I'm going to
Okay,
add
okay,
it
no
to you.
problem.
Yeah,
So
okay.
yeah, before we get into like the lab of how Lambda works, I want to give us like a brief history of what Lambda is. Okay, so Lambda is like a serverless computing service that is provided by AWS. And I'm sure we all know what AWS is, the Amazon Web Service. It's like powers like one third of the internet as we see today. And most business startups they use AWS to provide services to their customers. So Lambda it's a service that allows developers to run code without managing the servers. So you simply upload your function code and AWS automatically handles the execution and like scaling and reliability as well. Okay, so note now, Lambda started quite early, like very early, like November 2014. So AWS introduced Lambda to simplify cloud application development. So before Lambda, developers like they had to manage and scale the servers manually, like using EC2. But now with Lambda, there is this event-driven architecture where small pieces of code or functions that we used to call them Lambda functions, they automatically run in response to events. Like maybe say you upload a file, an event has happened. There's a database update, an event has happened, or you're calling an API, an event has happened as well. So with Lambda, you write code in languages like Python, Node.js, Java. It supports practically almost all programming languages, and they have like specific versions as well, which is very important. So Lambda runs on demand only when you trigger it that then to run, and you only pay for the compute time. That means you only pay for what you use basically. So when your code is not running, obviously you're not paying, but when your code is running, you're going to pay. So the key idea is that you want to run code without thinking about servers. You're giving that wahala, that problem to AWS, but you just want to focus on the business part of your application. So the old way was the traditional server, like I said. So let's say um you have a website or an application now. What's the first thing you actually need? You need a server. So because if I want to see your application or your web app, your website or your application, sorry, you need a server to host these things. So traditionally, you go to AWS, launch the EC2 instance, you guess the capacity, how big should the server be, how much RAM should be inside the server, how much CPU, or you just have to guess the traffic basically. Then also you're now involved in like managing it 24/7. You're responsible for everything. You have to install security patches, update the operating system, and configure the web server, which is not ideal. And also you pay for it. The most important part is that you pay for this server every single second it is running. So in as far as that server is running, you're going to pay for it. But if it's not running, you don't pay for it. That's why we say in the cloud we use a PAU model, pay as you go model. So if you have zeros, if you have zero users at 3 a.m., you're paying for that idle machine. So you might ask yourself, what if your application goes viral, like the popular Facebook, WhatsApp? What if the thing goes viral? Your server crashes. You don't have to like manually set up auto scaling groups to add more servers to the application. So this is a lot of work, and this is a lot of work that has nothing to do with your application at all. It's actually your infrastructure management. So now imagine this now differently. What if you could just write the code for your application and just put the specific function that handles a request and upload it? That's the power of Lambda. So what if you could say, oh, AWS, just run this piece of code alone when someone actually visits my website? If no one visits my website, don't do anything. That's a serverless. So it's not no servers. Of course, like there are a lot of servers, yes, but when you say serverless, is in the name serverless. You're not managing any server. So the name is actually kind of catchy and very easy to understand. So with serverless, you get no server management. You never patch an operating system again or security patches. Automatic automatic scaling. So if one user comes, your code will run. And if million users come at the same time, Lambda will, Lambda will run your code a million times in parallel. So you just do nothing. It scales automatically. And there's pay per value, which is you stop paying for idle time and you only pay for when there's like a number of requests and the milliseconds for your code that is running. So if your app is not used, they're not paying anything. But if your app is used, they're going to pay. So the heart of serverless on AWS is Lambda. It's like a very popular service and it's one of the best services that AWS has given the community and businesses at large. Sorry. Yeah, like I was saying, Lambda lets you run code without thinking about the servers. You upload your code, and Lambda handles everything required to run, scale that code with high availability. So you can write your Lambda functions in Go, Python, C Sharp, Java, Node.js, and many other programming languages you know about. So when we are going to talk about Lambda today, we're going to hear a few key terms. Number one is function. This is simply your code. When I say lambda function, that's like a code. Okay. And when I say runtime means this is the environment that your code is running on. It can be Python 3.12. I think the latest version is Python 3.13. So when I say runtime is the environment my code is running on. When I say handler, this is like the specific function in our code that the lambda calls when it is triggered. And we'll see this in a demo shortly. And when I say memory and timeouts, it means like you can set how much RAM your function gets and the max amount of time it can run. The standard is 15 minutes, cannot run more than 15 minutes. So this is how you control the cost and performance. You see, we've moved away from the EC2 part where we have to start talking about the size of our RAM, capacity, everything. Everything is inside Lambda embedded, and it's such a powerful service. So moving on, I want to talk about, but just to be sure that everyone is following along, can anyone respond? Or let me see in the comment section. Are we all good so far? Hello, guys. All right. Are we all good? Anyone else? Okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's nice. Okay. So, one key thing about serverless is that there is this stuff called event-driven architecture, or short of EDE. So, this is the most important concept to understand because Lambda functions are event-driven. When I tell you what's the meaning of an event is something that has taken place. That's like the simplest definition of an event. And let's say, for instance, you guys use all this Logic 6 app. Let's say Chow Deck now, for instance, you're ordering a food and you put, oh, I want amala, and you put egusi, and you put, let them help you and package it. You now press click send to pay for this ordering you're doing. An event has happened already. And that event is that you've ordered it already. So when that event has happened, it's an event-driven system because you pay for that has led to another event happening. So when you pay for that um, order that you did and your payment is successful, you now get a notification or a tracker ID for whatever package you are requesting for. So when you look at EDA, it's a beautiful concept and it shows that everything is connected in a way of events. So Lambda functions don't run all the time. They sit there waiting and absolutely doing nothing until something happens. It's just like you're waiting and something will just trigger you, everything that starts working immediately. So we can call this an event or a trigger. So an event, a trigger now can be like an HTTP request. A user visits a URL and we can see that that will be an event that's going on. Yes, yes. EC2 instance, we configure the storage ourselves, but Lambda will automatically manage the storage itself. With Lambda, what you are doing is just providing your code, your business logic. You're not doing any other thing else. It will automatically scale based on the request. So what you're only focusing on is giving value to your customers and putting your code there. As simple as that. So the first trigger we can have in an EDA is HTTP request. So a user visits a URL, and when they do that URL, they can see how to can trigger an event. Another one is an S3 bucket. That's another part of the trigger. So a user can upload a file to an S3 bucket. Then a Lambda function automatically triggers that process. We can also have a DynamoDB event. A new user signs up and a new row is added to the database. As simple as that. And you can even have a Lambda function that will send the person. Okay, let's say your popular SaaS applications now. When you sign up, they'll tell you welcome and everything. That can be a Lambda function that is telling them welcome to the app and everything, how to use it. Another one is a scheduled event. A scheduled event is where you can use a service like Event Bridge to run a function on a schedule. That means you can say, okay, run this database clean script by 11 o'clock every Friday, and it does that. So the logic is always event source, triggers, and Lambda function. Event source, like what is the source of that event, can be it can be an S3 event, and the trigger is sitting in between the middle of the Lambda function and that event. So if nothing is triggered, the Lambda function cannot work, obviously. So something has to be triggered. Okay, let's talk about stateless functions. So Lambda functions are stateless. This means that your function should not remember anything that it ran from the last time. That means it's basically running once. What I mean by that is that whatever it ran the last time, it should not remember at all. So every time a Lambda function is triggered, it's like a brand new fresh copy. So if you need to store data like who a user is or what is in their shopping cart, for example, you can't save it in a variable. You can't save it in a variable in your code, okay, and expect it to be there on the next request. That is not possible because to scale, AWS might run, let's say, 500 different copies of your function at the same time. So none of them know about the others. Like everyone is mind my own business. None of them knows about the others. So if you need to store data, you can use an external service like DynamoDB or S3 for storage. So this is like a stateless design, and it's precisely what allows it to scale infinitely. Are you all on track? If you've understood to this point, please let me know, and if I should retract back so we can all be on track because we'll be doing the demo shortly. We're all on track, right? That's nice. Okay, so we'll be doing the demo shortly. I don't want anyone to explain to me what is Lambda. It is simple, in a very simple definition. What's Lambda? Anyone, a very simple definition. What's Lambda? Anyone at all? Yeah, in a very simple definition, what's Lambda? You can put your answers in the comment section. More, I was even expecting like one or two words. It's very simple. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. But I'm looking for one very key word. Exactly. A computing service that allows you to run code without provisioning any managing servers. Exactly. So when Chidera said it's a supporter that runs code automatically, anything can run code automatically. But when you put that word that allows you to run code without provisioning or managing servers, that is the key benefit of Lambda. Okay, so they're all following. Does anyone know any other AWS serverless services apart from Lambda? Like two or three. Anyone can name them. Any other AWS services that supports serverless apart from Lambda? I need two or three services. Anyone at all? AWS services? No. So I'll help us out with this one. We have Lambda, AWS Lambda. We have DynamoDB. Okay, we have Event Bridge. We have API Gateway, and there are tons of them. So what these services are they are serverless services. Exactly, forget. Thank you. They are serverless services that you don't have to worry about managing your servers. So it scales automatically based on your request, your application request. Okay, so are we all ready for the demo? Are we all ready for the demo? If you are with your laptops, please signify in the section with an emoji, your favorite emoji. Signify in the comment section with your favorite emoji if you're ready for the demo. All right. Nice, nice, nice. I need more people to signify. Are we all with our laptops? Are we all with our laptops? Are we all with our laptops? Okay, nice, nice, nice. So I want us to go to AWS console, then we should sign up. So I want us to go to AWS console. Then we should sign up and come to the homepage. Step function is a serverless service. Yes, that's correct. Come to the homepage. Step function is a serverless service. Yes, that's correct. If you are at the homepage of your AWS console, drop an emoji. The homepage of your AWS console, drop an emoji. Are we all together? Yes, yes, that's very nice. So let's go to Lambda here. I'm very lucky I have Lambda here. So if you are not the type that has Lambda on your console, you can also go to here. You come to Lambda. So if you are not the type that has Lambda on your console, you can Let me change my region. I have something running here. Okay. So can we see this homepage about AWS Lambda? And you see how simple the definition is. It lets you run code without managing servers. That's just the key thing of Lambda. And we can see the simple definitions here where AWS says you only pay for the compute time that you use. There's no charge when your code is not running. They're not charging you. And with Lambda, you can run code for virtually any type of application or backend service. So can we all see this? Yeah, awesome, awesome, awesome. So now we can see the programming language we have. We have .NET, we have Java, we have Node.js, we have Python, we have Ruby, and we have custom runtime. So the first thing we have to do is now create a function. I'll click this now. When I'm creating a function, I want to create something that will store my code. Okay, I've clicked that. Now can we all see this? I mean, my Lambda creation function. So now it is you have three options to do this. I can either create it from scratch, use a blueprint, or container image. But now I want to create it from scratch, which is what we want to do. And I want to give it a function name. I can just use unilag workshop.demo. Did we see that? Oh, wait, one second. Can you hear me now clearly? Onyx, can you hear me clearly? Hello? Okay, okay, okay. Thank you. So now we are creating a Lambda function, and the first thing we are doing is we are giving it a function name, unilag workshop demo. And now I want to use Python. I may be Python bias. So for my runtime, I can use Node.js. There are Ruby, but I mean I want to use Python. I want to use the Python 3.12 version because I'm very much familiar with that. So I'm using that. And the architecture part is where you choose the instruction set architecture you want your code to function on. I'm using x64. That's the basic. And now this is the important part here. When you're creating a Lambda function, you can choose a role that defines the permissions of your function. That means what does your function have permission to do? And by default, I just want to create a role with the basic Lambda permissions that it has. If I'm running something different, I can use an existing role or create a role from AWS policy templates. So there's nothing else to do. Let me create my function. If you've created your function, please drop an emoji. I want to make sure we're all on the same track. So I have created my function. After you can see that green tab that says everything I want to know about my function. And you can see this overview. This is a very, very nice way to see how your Lambda function is. And it's very, very brilliant by AWS. How many people have created their functions? How many people have created their functions? Drop an emoji. Only one person so far. Okay, I'm waiting for others. If you created your function, drop an emoji. If you created a function, drop an emoji. Okay, let's proceed. I don't think anyone responded. I think we've all done that. Oh, you're still on it. Okay, fine, fine. Apart from who else is still on it? All right, awesome. So if you've done it already, just drop an emoji so I can keep everyone on track. If we've done that, please drop an emoji. Okay, let's continue. So we can see here that this is a very, very good diagram of our lambda function destination as well. Okay, so now this is our code. Can you see? Can you guys see how this is our code? So okay, just voting. All right. So this is like a code source from like more like an IDE in the cloud, and it's very, very awesome from AWS that they did this. So yeah, you're literally writing your code here. It's still loading a bit. All right. Yeah. So you're literally writing your code here in this IDE. You can see it's exactly like VS Code, and you can just do anything you want to do without having to go to your like normal terminal and do all that. So what we want to do is we want to create a simple function. Okay. Um, before I do that, okay. So there's not any default function here. Okay, there's a default function here. So like this is just a default function that says to print a 200 error, 200 status code, which means okay, and to just print hello from lambda. But let's remove that and let's put our code inside. Coming shortly. So what is our code name is saying? Let's start from the beginning. What our code name is saying is that it will look for a name in the URL query string. So there are comments to help us understand this better. So when this is looks for a name in the URL query strings, it will now build a greeting message and to return the specific data in JSON format. So we are going to use API gateway as well. It's another serverless service from AWS. Use it to manage your APIs or build your APIs. So here we are printing the events to the logs. So we see what it actually looks like. And here we are checking to see if the user has provided a name in the URL. Now, we'll now set a default name if the user has not provided a name to world. So now, this is the API gateway. So this returns a status code of 200 and to print the message, greetings from AWS Cloud Club Unilag. And that's it. Yeah. So now, to make sure that our code is up to date and is saved, we can deploy. So when you do deploy, it's deploying in progress right now. So now, yes, that's successfully deployed. Now, the next thing we need to do is create a trigger. So how do we run this code? We need a trigger because now the code is just stagnant. It's not doing anything. It's an event source. But how do we run the code for it to trigger? So now come back here. You can see let me just get everyone's attention. Or do we all have the source code for the demo at the moment? Do we all have the source code for the demo at the moment? Yeah, I think they can speak on that. But we have the source code at the moment. Oh, we don't have the source code. Okay, I just want you guys to follow through. Hopefully the source code will be shared later on. But let's see. Okay. I think let me ask first. Um Olix, can the source code be shared? Hello?
Can you hear me? Uh,
Can you hear
Hello.
me?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can hear you. Yes.
The source code.
Thinking of the way we can share it. I don't know if it makes
Okay.
sense on WhatsApp. I'm not quite sure how this would be. Anyway, I think we can share that with them later on, probably via
Okay, no
Google,
problem.
yeah, or something.
No problem. I'll most likely put it in a doc so I can share it to everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you. So you guys, you might not have the source code now, but I want you to just look up for something that is very simple and that can trigger an API gateway. I would most likely share the source code after this session so we can all get access to it. But now, let me proceed and let me show you what I'm talking about. So I want you guys to follow along and envision this. But like, great job so far if you've created your Lambda function. And you can always try this now or even later. Just ensure that you are trying to, like in my code here, it says I want to trigger an API gateway. So comment section says this is the response we'll send back to the API gateway. So let's ensure of that. So now, how do we run this code? We need to add a trigger. And a very simple way of doing that is to add a trigger here. Now, it's not asking me for the trigger configuration. Let me see how am I configuring my trigger. What is the source? And the source I want to use is API gateway. Can we see it here? API gateway. This is it here. And I click on it. Now it's asking me do I want to use an existing API or a new API. I mean I want to use an existing API because this is the first time I'm doing this. So now there are three types of API gateway. When you want to create an API, there are three types. There's HTTP, there's WebSocket, and there's REST API. Now what you want to use for this case is HTTP API because this is like one of the newer, faster, and cheaper type of APIs provided by AWS. So for this demo, we're going to leave it as open. We don't use any IAM rules or create a JWT authorizer. That's way beyond this demo. But we'll leave it as open. So anyone with the URL can call it. And I think I would just like most likely put that um in the comment section so you can all see what we just did right now. Okay, let's add this now. So yes, we've added this is the message here. The trigger API has been added to the function. So the function will now start receiving events from the trigger. So now what we can do and to see that is done, the API gateway has been created and configured. We now have like a public API URL. So let's go there. So now we can see it here, triggers. And this is what it's saying basically. Is the type HTTP, resource part is this part, the method is any. These are just all the configurations which are not needed, but this is the API endpoint itself. So if I click on this, let me see if I can share this in the comment section. Hello, Olix,
Yeah,
can
I'm
anyone
with you.
hear me?
Yeah, okay, okay.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So like
Share.
I'll share the API endpoint URL. So when you call it now, the reason why everyone is able to call it is because I've left it to open. So now I want everyone to click on that link, then check it, and you see it. Have you all clicked on the link for the API URL? Have you all clicked on the link for the API URL? This is what we should be seeing exactly. This is what we should be seeing. It's all from our function code, which is very simple. If you've done that, please I want to see an emoji. If you've clicked on the link in the comment section and you've seen the API URL that prints the message, leave an emoji in the chat. Okay, only one person so far. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes,
So,
yes, it's an event.
okay.
Have you all clicked on the link? Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. So we can all see that we've done like a very simple demo of an API request. So the message you just is to print the message. So we just run our lambda function with from a public URL. So let's see. Okay, I can even change itself. I can come back here and change it, like our code. Where's our code? Let me check it. Let our code load. So I'll just change the code, and you see that the URL dynamically changes as well with the code. So okay, like I said, greet from incoming lag. You have a short demo session. So if I deploy those changes now, so I'm updating my function and it has successfully deployed. So if I come back here, can we guys see this now? You guys should go back to that same link and try and see the message. This is the message that is printing for me. Hello world, greetings from AWS Cloud Club in lag. We have a short demo session. Can you guys see the beauty of Lambda? We have built a dynamic, scalable public API where we do not touch any server at all. We just pay for the functions that we run. So this thing can scale, or you can even improve this simple Lambda code for your business logic. Everything you just have to do is just forget about managing your servers, and it does everything automatically for you. All right. So let's do like another short demo. But I want everyone to click on that link to see what I was talking about exactly. So, okay, awesome, awesome. So I want to show us another simple demo. So what we'll be doing in this demo is that when a text file is uploaded, a Lambda function will read its content, analyze it, and save a processing report to a different S3 bucket. Sorry. So yeah, what we are trying to do now is when a text file is uploaded, a Lambda function will read its content, analyze it, and save a processing report to a different S3 bucket. Now, how do we do that? That's the question. Okay. I want to show us our logs for the demo we just did now. Okay, should show this. This is our logs for demo we just did now. Our CloudWatch logs are very useful when you want to see what's going on. So it showed our logs of what we just did now, and that was very helpful. So it showed everything about how it was running, what time, everything basically. So if there's potentially an error, you come to CloudWatch logs and you check for your logs, and the log group that you use is to show everything exactly. So what I'm trying to do now is do like a very small processing pipeline demo. So what we're trying to do is I will build a serverless processing pipeline. So our goal is to create a system that automatically runs the code every time a new file is uploaded to an S3 bucket. So what we'll go to now is S3. S3 is AWS storage in the cloud. Okay, that's loading. Now, we want to create two S3 buckets. So one is an input bucket, another one is an output bucket. So we'll create two S3 buckets, we'll create a Lambda function, we'll set up a trigger that any file that is uploaded to that input bucket, it automatically runs our Lambda function. So our function will now read the file, count the words, and save a report file to the output bucket. So three services we are using: S3 to store our file, Lambda to run our code, and give like necessary permissions to read and write from our S3 buckets. So we'll create a general purpose M3 S3 buckets. Let's call this Unilag workshop. Let's create the output first. Output 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's create that bucket and we'll create the bucket. That's the first bucket we're creating. Okay, that's going on. So we've created the first bucket already. Now the second one we want to create is the inputs bucket. So same thing, but we'll just change this input here. And we'll create that as well. So now that we've created all the buckets, we have our source and our destination at the same time. See the two buckets here. We have our source and destination at the same time. So now we'll now create our function. So we'll go to S3, we'll go to Lambda now. And what we want to do in Lambda now is create a new function. Okay. So create a function that says Unilag S3 processor. So this will process the files from the S3 bucket. So the runtime once you use Python as always, because my code is in Python. That's why. And yeah, leave everything as default. So let's create the function. So now that function is created, is being created, we will now add the code to process the S3 events. So our function is now being created. Okay. So now our function is created, we want to put our code inside now. So I will do that shortly at the back of my screen. I'll put my code. I had my code ready already. So all right, let's go down and let's change all this. I'll put my code. So what my code is basically doing is that it's using the Boto3 library. This is the AWS SDK for Python. It's included in Lambda already, so there's no need to worry about dependencies. Now, also, it gets the file information. So when it gets the file information, it will now download it. See, so it gets the bucket's name and the file key. So it will download the file from the source bucket to now read its content, then perform a simple analysis like count the number of words or to now prepare the output. So we define the destination and we'll get the bucket's name from an environment variable for best practices. But let's hard code it just to be sure and save time as well. So what we want to do now is to add extra permissions for our S3 bucket to talk to our Lambda. So this is like a very critical step. So by default, our Lambda function has no permissions to talk to S3. So you must grant it permissions. So in Lambda here, you come to the configuration tab. Now look for permissions here. So when you see the permissions, you click on the execution role. The execution role is here. Yes, this is the execution role. So I will do that now, and I'll share this tab just so we can see that. So what we want to do this IAM tab for the Lambda, this is Lambda functions user. What we want to do here is to add policies or permissions or create an inline policy. So I will paste the code of that too as well inside so we can see. Because like I said, by default, our Lambda function does not have any our Lambda function does not have any permission to talk to S3 normally. So we're trying to add that permission here. So I'll come here and I'll add permission, create inline policy. Okay. I want to use JSON format type. Let me paste that inside. My workshop name is 12345. Okay. I think I kept the same name in my S3 buckets. All right. So let's do the same thing for both of them. Let's change it to 12345. 12345. And this one as well, 12345. Are you all following? There are two S3 buckets, the input bucket and the output bucket. So it's not the same thing. There are two S3 buckets, the input bucket and the output bucket. See them here. There are two S3 buckets. See the input bucket and the output bucket. There are two different buckets. So going back to our policy management. So we want to click on next. And let's say for like a policy name, we can give it like S3 process policy. Okay. And you can see that the permission defined in this policy is S3. So we want to give our Lambda function ability to talk to our S3 bucket. So let's create the policy. So when we've created the policy already, we've added it to the basic Lambda execution. So what that means now is that our Lambda and S3 can talk to each other. So let's come back here. So like always, we'll come to here and we'll add a trigger. And the trigger that we're trying to add now is S3. So we can just search S3 here. You can see it is here. Now, we should now choose the bucket name for our S3 because in S3 we have a lot of buckets. So we want to choose the buckets for our S3 here, and the one that we choose is the inputs bucket. So this is the inputs bucket I've chosen here. Okay. Now the events type, leave it as all objects to be create all objects to create the events. That's how we'll leave it as. And yes, okay. This is just a warning that says that the using the same. Okay, it's not recommended, but I cannot leave like that. So I'll add it. So this now says that the trigger is in place with our S3. So now what we want to do is now we will now test it. So we'll go to the S3 tab now, and all we are doing here is I'm going to create a simple text file, or I even have a file. Let me create a simple text file on my laptop, and just so we can see that as quick as possible. I'll do that in the background. I'm creating a simple text file. Okay, let's create it. So I just put my name is AWS Cloud Club Unilag, and I'll save it and I'll make it as hello.txt. That's the basic name I'm giving. Hello, yeah, hello. That's the simple one. So now, what I have to do is to upload this simple file to my S3 console. And you guys know the normal way of doing all that. So I will just come here and I'll go to my inputs bucket and I'll come here, okay, and I'll say upload. It's asking what I want to upload, and I'll see add files. So it now go to my laptop and check. So this is one here, and I'll click on it, hello.txt. Can you guys see it? That's the hello.txt inside now. So I'll just click upload. So this is an event that has happened already. I'm uploading, it should be running now, and it will be creating a new file in our output bucket. Okay, so let's go to my output bucket now. Remember, this is our input bucket. This is our input bucket, and there's a file there that we uploaded, hello.txt. Now let's go to my output bucket. Oh, there's no file here yet. Okay, let's wait a bit. Okay, let's check again and ensure that we are on track. So you can come here and see what permissions we've given. Okay, let's see. S3 process policy, workshop output bucket. Same thing. Okay, I think I should rename it so it will be better. Let's rename our output bucket. Let's rename our output bucket. Properties. Let's delete this first so we can have a better bucket to use. Okay. I want a unique name. I didn't think of that. So delete straightforward. We'll create this bucket again. Okay, create a new bucket, but this time the output bucket. I want to give it a unique name. So output bucket uh, demo. That's the name I'll give it. And I'll create the bucket. Bucket has been created. So when the bucket has been created, now I need to update my functions. I need to update my permissions. I mean, so come here and edit this. Okay, is going on at the moment. So modify our policy that we created. So we change it to, before it was this, I'll change it to the new one. Okay, now let's save that. Now we've saved that already. Okay, I'm coming. Well, what are we leaving like that exactly? I'm not getting you. And I'm not getting you. Why should we leave it as that exactly? Here, those will just proceed. So now let's try and upload. But before we upload again, I want to see my bucket and see if everything is working well. Okay, I have my resource. I have this too. Now let's see if our trigger is actually functioning properly. Okay, okay. Let's see. You asked the question. I don't know like what basis of the question is. I want to see if again if I can upload and see if it's working as well. Now, now let's ensure that we can upload in our inputs and get another file back. So I'll delete this for deleting sake. Permanently delete objects. Let's delete it. Okay, so let's go back to our Lambda. I'll just do this in the background. Um, let's deploy our code again. Let's ensure we're all on track. Okay. Oh, I have undeployed changes. Let's see if it works. So let's deploy our changes. Okay, says that's gone. Now we have to test again. So let's go back to our S3 bucket here and let's try and upload the file again. But let me check my log groups and see if I have any logs so I can know what the problem is. Let's see if I can get any logs from my log group. Let's see if I have one down here. Okay, let's see it here. I had one before. Hmm. Okay, nothing. That's so let's upload our text file again. Okay, let's upload it. So we uploaded it already. Now we want to check our event has been sent to our Lambda function. So the function should be running and it will create a new file in our output. So I want us to check our output bucket and see if it's going to be there as well. So I'll go to our output buckets. Nothing. I think I might have messed up the configuration a bit. So oh, it's visible now. You can see. We are doing a little debugging. Oh, let's see. Okay, file uploaded successfully. Let's go to our logs. Our logs should show us what is wrong. Exactly. Let's see. Okay, it's called another one. Okay. Okay, and so this is the error that our logs is showing now. So it's showing that an error occurred when calling the put objects operation. The specified bucket does not exist. That's our error from our CloudWatch logs. So the issue is in our function, in our Lambda function exactly. So I will come here and check. I'm coming. Give me a bit. So I'll come to our Lambda function and check where the error might be. Let me try and deploy again. Uh-huh. No. Did we all see the error that I was talking about for our Lambda function? Like it showed that there was no put object for our bucket. Okay. Um okay, let's do it again. So come back and let's see if it works. So let's deploy and let's hope it works hopefully. So now that it's deploying, we'll go back and try and see if you can send. We'll try and see if you can upload the stuff again to see. So we'll go to our S3 bucket. Now we'll go to our input demo again. Go to our input bucket again. Let's delete this file. Let's delete this file. So we've done that. Now that we've done that, we want to upload it again and see it works. So upload files. This is the file I want to upload. Yes. So do upload. So now let's see if it has uploaded. Okay, upload. So it's uploading, and as it has done that, we can go back and see. So let's go to our output bucket. Nothing still. That's surprising. I'm coming. This is our output workshop in like demo. No, I don't want this. I'm coming. I need to get these two names and my input one too as well. So our cloud workloads. This instead. Okay. Let's set environment variables for this. I think it will be better for the correct output of our bucket. So you can come here and go to our configuration. Our configuration, you can set variables. Let's set environment variables. So add environment variables. The value here is yes, output bucket. We give it this, and let's add that. So let's save that. I also need to change our code because to use the environment variables now, I think that will be better. And let's deploy again. So let's go back to our code. Okay, as loading. Load. Yes, as loading. Come back here and see. Yes, let's change everything. So now we'll deploy again. So we've deployed successfully. Now let's try again and upload. So we'll go back to our input bucket, delete it. Let's copy this just to be faster. We'll permanently delete the objects. Troubleshooting mode is very tasking, guy. Very tasking. So now let's upload and add the files back. The goal is to make sure that we see it in our output bucket. This hello text, we want to see it in our output bucket. So let me upload again. Okay, fingers crossed. I hope you see it this time. So we uploaded this hello world to our input bucket. Now let's check our output bucket now. Nothing's uploading. It's problem. Let me check my logs again. Okay, let's check my logs. Ah, this error. But oh, it's trying to see me. A little mistake. I see what the error is. I saw what the error is. Let's change this. Yes, I mean US is 2. US is US is 2. Okay. Now receive events, workshop. Yes. Let's do it again. Now we'll delete. Let me delete this thing in the back. Let me delete the file in the inputs in the background, and we'll just upload it again. So I've deployed it successfully. Now I want to upload it again. We'll go back to our S3 buckets and upload the file. Yes, let's upload it. Upload. Now that's been uploaded again. I will go back and let's close this and go to our buckets, go to our output buckets. It's not switching any file. Let's see. Let's see our logs. See the same error. Okay. I'm running from EES is 2. That means it's a regional error. More like a regional error. Okay. So I want to tell it that it should use the actual error, not the previous error. So I need to check I even need to check my permissions to ensure that I'm giving the acts like the correct permissions. Let's see the process policy. It's accepting to. Okay, let's change the code. Okay, let's change it. Yup, it is something. Yes. Okay. Let's see where we created this exactly. Okay. Okay. This is in US is 2. This is in US is 2. And this as well is in US is 2. So US is 2, both of them are using. So let's change that again. Okay, change US is 2. Let's deploy again. If it doesn't work, we just have to wrap it up because live demos should always work. Live demos should always work. I don't know what the issue is now. So let's share this tab and let's upload again. Upload this file. Yes. Okay, we've uploaded it. Close. And let's check. I'm it's not working. Let's share this tab instead and see. I want to see what the error is here. The error is still the same thing. Oh, it's telling me it could not connect to the endpoint. Now that's a very, very new error. Before we are getting that it was not putting it, but now it's telling me it cannot connect to the endpoint. So our lambda function is trying to reach our endpoint, but notice, okay, it's actually a configuration error. It's actually a configuration error. Let me check my lambda code. Okay, I kept use instead of US. Let's change that. It was used before instead of US is 2. So let us upload the stuff again and see. So let's upload again and see. Add files. Yes. Okay, upload. Uploading that. Now let's go back and check. Let's go back and check. Still nothing. I guess we just have to
Can we check the log again and see what's
let's
going
check.
on?
Yes, I'm checking the logs. Is
I
this
can't.
error? I'm not understanding exactly.
Can you? I can't
I
really
think I should
see
make it
the.
bigger.
See. Let's
Can
see.
you
Let's
see?
see.
Wait, it's too much. Can you see now?
Still, I can't see it. Okay, I think it's getting better. Okay, let me see.
That's the error
Uh,
exactly that it's trying to show me.
can you share the log? Is it possible? No such.
Uh,
Let me see.
is it in the chat? I should share the logs.
Yeah, just share it. Share it. Let's
Okay,
see.
no problem. I think I've done that already.
Okay.
Hmm. It's telling me that he cannot find the bucket. Exactly. So I'm quite surprised. So
So I think it's complaining about the bucket. Are you sure the name is correct? The bucket name is
yeah,
correct.
this one.
Okay.
See.
Let's see.
Oh, let me share my screen. Can you see
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. So let me check my permissions to even like confirm. Okay. Okay, I see the error. So let me share this instead. So like when I set up my permissions here,
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't edit
you did
this.
change it. Yeah, you didn't edit it. I
Yeah,
can see.
yeah, I did change
Yeah.
it. Let's see if I can change it. Or let me see even if it's changed. So, just to be sure. It's changed already. It should work. It's changed. It should work. I don't know.
Is it updated the policy?
Yeah, it's like it's updated before, sir.
Oh,
So I still
okay.
understand. I'm coming.
And the region is also specified, which is US East one.
Okay, I see. This is a very bad error for me. See, it says output, not output. Can you see?
Yeah, I'm seeing your screen.
Can you see this here? Like it's saying output, not output.
Like S, is that what you're saying?
No, T. It's meant to show. It's meant to say Unilag Workshop output, but now it's saying Unilag Workshop output. So that's where
Oh,
the error was exactly. So I did not put the T there. So guys, always ensure that you cross check your code, your settings as well. I didn't do that. I should have done that. No, sorry, it was here. I didn't share the tab. Sorry about that. This thing was showing Unilag Workshop output instead of output before. You get hello.
yeah, I'm with you. Go ahead.
So it was showing output instead of output. Well, let it load up. Let it load up. Okay,
That's
yeah.
why I prefer. That's why I prefer
Yeah,
Terraform with
it
some
was
of the
like this
stuff.
before. It was like this
Okay.
before, but I added the T. So to complete it to be output exactly. So if we try it
Okay.
now, it should work. Fingers crossed.
Let's see.
Now let's upload.
So, guys, that's how we
Because
troubleshoot.
our
Though.
input
See, we
is not
have.
easy. Like the very simplest things will be the issue. So let's upload. Yes, we uploaded our file. So let's go to our bucket now.
Output bucket.
Our workshop bucket. Ah, nothing is still showing. Eh,
We're running out of time. Okay.
okay, I see. I changed it so this is still showing output. It's still showing
Oh,
output here instead of output. I need to delete the bucket and install it again.
uh, if I'm not sure it's this anyway. If because if you're using like you're using the right this thing before, which is
Exactly.
the LT. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I'm not sure this is going to change anything though. Let's see.
Let's see.
And can you share me the code as well? The on the
Lambda code.
yes, share with me here on
Okay.
the chat.
You can check.
Oops.
I've shared it already.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So now let's upload. Let's upload again and see if it works. And delete it. And let's upload again. Okay. Upload. We uploaded it already. So let's check.
Um, can you also send me the bucket name? That's the
Yes.
destination.
Can you
The
see it?
destination.
No, can you
Yeah,
see it
just
now?
yeah, I can see. It. Okay, is it working?
Yes, yes, yes. Our output got the report
Oh,
text. It got it back exactly like it is. I can
wait.
let me do it again so everyone sees.
Okay.
Let's delete. Let's delete it from our output bucket first. Okay. So we've deleted it already. And if we go back to our buckets, I'll go to the input bucket because we want to upload it. So we'll come here, upload, add the file we want to upload, hello.txt file. Then come here, upload. So we've uploaded it to our input bucket already. See, it's here in our input bucket. So when we go back to our output bucket, it shows up.
Yeah.
Now, like that's it basically. And let me see if I can get the logs so we can see what's going on. Okay, there are no logs. I don't think it shows a log for this. It should print a log, but that's it. So guys, we've seen how to do like a simple pipeline where we upload the file to the S3 bucket, Lambda picks it up, then it triggers an event, then it saves it to our output bucket. So that's basically a brief overview of the Lambda serverless architecture, serverless pipeline, and it. So if there are any questions, I would love to answer them quickly. If I represent it should have been a lot if I had like cross-check my code, but like
Mm-hmm.
I guess yeah, that was a little bit of debugging that we all learned.
Yeah, and I think it's this is good that it's happening, so people
Yeah,
can know that it's not always rosy when it comes to writing code, trying to deploy resources. So these are some
yeah,
of the issues we face. So you see how we kind of troubleshoot, or how Mohammed was able to troubleshoot, and at the end of the day, we're able to resolve it. So that's the joy. It's not always easy like that. There are documentation that you have to follow. They'll tell you do this, and at the end of the day, it's not work. You do a lot of debugging. So yeah, I mean, yeah, this is good. Um, so guys, if you have questions, I mean, I have questions anyway. But if you have questions, guys, you guys can drop it. Um, yeah, there is a group chat. Um, Ella, please, can you help with the link to the group? All right. So okay, so basically, so what this does is to take to extract the file name and then store it in the bucket, correct, of an image. Mohammed, is that what it does? This particular last task?
are you talking to me?
Yes.
What did you
I'm
say?
not sure. Yes. So the last task, this functions that this particular
Yeah.
function that you do. So it's basically extract the content of a file, or no, the
Yes.
file name, and then store it in a
Yes.
bucket, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had two buckets. We had to set up two buckets initially. One is the inputs bucket that we can upload anything we want to that bucket. So Lambda will now trigger that input bucket and will store whatever is in that input bucket to the output bucket.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. Um. All right. So I have a question for you. Right. So
Okay.
because when we talk about the serverless computing kind of thing,
Yeah.
and of course we know that it's about abstracting away the infrastructure management. So you just focus on the code,
Yeah.
and then you have your resources deployed and all of that. So my question now is, when we talk about Lambda, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's still server somewhere. That means it's being managed by AWS, right? And then
Yes.
if you have your server, that means that it will always running and you will keep getting charged. But of course, when you deploy a resource, it's always on. Now for serverless computing, my question now is it that it's going to be the server that is being managed by AWS whenever there's an event that triggers this
Yeah.
particular function or a code? Is it that's when a new server will be spin up by AWS, and then once it's done, it gets shut down? And if
Mm.
that statement is true, like this statement,
Mm-hmm.
if it's true, then um, how do we ensure, how does AWS handle business continuity or code continuity in a case where when you do with server has to come up, you have to shut it down, you have to bring it up. So that means there has to be a code shutdown at a particular period of time, right? So that
Mm.
means that the server will not be available. So how does AWS ensure that, okay, whenever, if that my statement that I said earlier is correct, so how did they ensure that there's
Mm-hmm.
no downtime, right? And how fast it is to, ensure that the servers are running?
Okay. So like for the first question now, I'll talk about the code start. So if a function has not been used for a while, okay, it can take a while before it starts, like before it starts to boot. So let's say you've not used the function for like a month or 2 months. It's take a while before that function starts to boot. So that's a cold start. So for most applications, it is fine. But like for super sensitive applications, you need to pay actually to keep that servers warm. So it's like more like called provision concurrency. Now,
Okay.
for the other question, if you want to run long running tasks now, Lambda has a maximum of 15 minutes to allow you to run tasks up to that rate. So they are designed for short event driven architectures or tasks that you want to do. So if you have a job like a job or like a skill that needs to run for hours, like let's say you want to train a machine learning model, you will like have to use a different service for that because it takes time. Like I said,
Mm.
15 minutes is the default. So you now asked about the concept of serverless. The concept of serverless is that there are still servers around. AWS is just not giving you that idea to manage it. So they are the ones they are physical data centers that are providing these servers to you. So you're not managing it exactly. AWS has that while on their side. What you just need to do is bring your logic, your business logic to the table and provide services to the customers. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So, if you have any question, guys, drop it. You know, before we wrap it up, any question, for Mohammed? Is there any question? All right. So, Mohammed, I don't know. I'm not sure there's question for you, but looks like I'm good for my end. Um. Okay. All right. So, if there is no question, okay. Okay. I think there's a question for you, um, Mohammed. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can share that to.
How do you delete the Lambda function? It's very easy actually. You can just come here and I'm sure you can see my tab now. So come here and delete. It's just very simple, straightforward. Do we get that? Yeah. You can come here and just delete it straightforward. Actions, delete function. Or you can even come to the dashboard of the functions, then click on the processor, then delete the function. Sorry, delete it, and just type confirm, and it delete it. Exactly. So it's straightforward to delete or create a function. Yeah.
Mm. All right, I think we are out of time, so we're just going to wrap it up here. Um, so let's drop an emoji to thank our tutor. I want you guys to drop emojis wherever you are. Keep doing that. Let's appreciate him for this time. It's not easy to actually like put all this together. For me, I've personally learned a couple of things today, and I'm sure that you guys also do. There are a couple of things that probably might not be touch base, but I would say majority of it were actually touched. And you have to also know that Lambda is really cost effective because you only be charged for only the compute you use or per the call or for the event. And thank you so much, Mohammed, for making this possible. And also for those that are joining us for the first time and you want to like be to join our group that's on WhatsApp. So I'm going to like display the link. It's also on the chat section. You can click on it and join us. That's where we practically share information, updates, and some other goodies that we might not be able to share here. Um, just a piece of advice. Um, today's task, it's very interesting, and yes, so you can see some couple of errors that we kind of go into, and then Mohammed was able to debug it. Try and do them at your leisure time or whenever you have the chance. So I'm going to advise you to do that. You can go back to watch the video if you were unable to like know how to go about it. And also you can ask questions on the WhatsApp group. We will definitely answer your questions. And I think we are going to also share the link to the code I use, the policies, so that you don't have to struggle to get it done. So it's going to like send all those things to the group, and then you guys can go ahead and do it. Make sure you do it. Don't just participate. Be a doer. So thank you all for joining today's session. I hope you enjoy it, and we will communicate when we're going to have the next one. So see you guys again. Have a wonderful evening, and yeah, so that's it, and we're going to call it a day. Right? Bye, everyone. Okay, Mohammed, are you still there?
Yeah, man. I'm here.
Yeah. Am
Come
I
on.
in this? Did I end the stream? I think I did.
Wait,
Wait,
are we still live?
I thought I did. I'm coming. End stream.